Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, yes, you are back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, bringing you the live stream, otherwise known as After the Poll. That is right, guys. This is episode 6, and this is the live stream where, we talk about comics I picked up and see if they lived up to the hype, after the poll, right? So, guys, also wanted to let you know, hey, happy Halloween. So hopefully I'm doing this live stream early enough so I don't interfere in your Halloween plans. And this was actually a challenge to get up this week because it's what I'm doing at my house right now. I'm getting ready for Halloween. I have some friends coming over. I'm putting spider webs all over my house and shit like that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So but of course, welcome to the show. I have 4 viewers right now. Hopefully, you guys will have a lot of fun with this. We're going to be talking about our comics today. So the books that we're going to be talking about are going to be this. So let's see. Let me bring them up here. So the first one we're going to be talking about today is Snow White Zombie Apocalypse issue 1. So this is very zombie theme, very Halloween themed type of episode when it comes to After the Poll this week. And then we're going to be talking about the new X-Men book this week called Excalibur issue 1, right? And then the next one, guys, we're going to be talking about is Venom issue 19. Obviously, the Absolute Carnage tie-in, pretty much a heavy issue when it comes to this one. Then we're going to be talking about Marvel Zombies Resurrection. This is issue 1. Then we're going to be talking about Deceased. This is the conclusion to that series. And then we're going to be talking about a book that I actually wasn't going to read this week, but I decided to pick it up. And that is Joker Killer Smile. This is issue 1 of 3. So those are the ones. And once again, guys, After the Poll issue 6, happy Halloween. And remember, at any time, subscribe and like to this live stream. So you like what I'm doing here? I'm trying to buy some time so I get some viewers. I have 8 right now, so that is a plus, right? So again, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the comic book haul if you guys did that, and telling me all your little Halloween plans and giving that video a like as well, as I'm trying to break a record on that one with 170 likes. So let's not waste any more time, shall we? Let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's talk about the comic books, all right? So first things first here on this one. And you guys actually ask for this. If you turn into the comic book haul each week, I will ask you, the fans, which books would you like me to talk about in this particular live stream? Okay. And so this book came out a couple times, actually, and that was Snow White and the Zombie Apocalypse. That's right. When I saw this book from Scout Comics, I was kind of like, okay, well, this looks different. It's Snow White, and she's dealing with a zombie apocalypse. And this is that book right here. So I'm going to pull it out so you don't see any glare. And so here is that book right here. So it's a very dark looking cover, and I thought it'd be a much darker book than it was, but it didn't really deliver in the way that I actually wanted to. Here we get to see some of the interior artwork. But basically what happens in this particular issue, we wound up seeing Rapunzel. Okay, and Rapunzel is this vampire hunter, and she teams up with Prince Charming, and they stop all these zombie-like creatures. And throughout this book, you run into other different types of, Disney characters or fantasy-like characters that we've known and loved since our childhood. And one was like Little Red Riding Hood. We get to see like Snow White, obviously, and the little grandmother that gets eaten by a wolf from Red Riding Hood, which was kind of funny as well. So yeah, it is kind of comical. And Rapunzel and Prince Charming have this relationship, and then what happens is they come across Snow White, and Snow White is laying there sleeping. And what does he do? He actually comes up to Snow White and gives her a kiss. And Rapunzel gets like all jealous and stuff like that. And she goes, "What are you doing killing kissing this person? She's dead. She's a zombie apocalyptic person. She's going to kill you." And it's just kind of funny, what happens in the book. And she goes on with this jealousy. She's like, "Oh, Snow White loves you," and stuff like that. But it was nothing really serious. There wasn't very much dialogue. Snow White wakes up and she's kind of in denial. She's like, where are my 7 dwarves, and where is my, my Prince Charming, and how am I going to live ever after, and stuff like that. And it's kind of a gruesome comic, a little bit violent and whatnot, but it wasn't anything special. Do I sit there and tell you guys, go out there and buy, this $6 comic book? No, but at the same time, if you want to support these smaller publishing companies, you can go out there and do it. It was an entertaining read, $6. It was okay. Snow White, thought it would be fun. Very fitting for this episode of After the Poll. So it was okay, So let's welcome the viewers to the show. Welcome, guys. I have Andrew on the show. He's on. He says, "We're really looking forward to Deceased and Venom." And I have Aaron on the show. He says, "Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you too." Coffee Breath is on the show. He says, "What's up, guys?" And I have Matthew Marlin, who says, "Hello." So welcome to the show. Scoundrel Gaming Superheroes Are My Life is on the show. He says, "Hi, Mike. How are you doing, man? I'm glad that I got you this week. I won't be able to watch in November. I got basketball games for a while." So, yeah, I know life gets in the way, right? And I probably might not do a After the Poll episode next week, guys. I actually have there's something going on next Thursday. Oh, yes, I have a tennis event that I'm going to teach out of school next week, and that's going to take up my day on Thursday. So, unfortunately, we will not have an After the Poll. So, stay tuned for 2 weeks from today. So, just letting you guys know that. Andrew says, "It's snowing here. Cheer me up with good comic talk, Mike." Yes, it is 90 degrees here in Florida. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this comic book series called Strange Adventures? DC and HBO Max confirmed it will be an anthology series. I did hear that DC is teaming up with HBO Max to make shows, right? And then there's another DC piece of news that was released also, like how the timeline has gotten leaked on Dan Didio's Twitter page. So what's this thing about DC's like timeline? What's going on with that? Like, do we really need that? Is DC that messed up that we need a definitive timeline to understand everything that happens there? So I don't know. We'll see. Tevia joins the show. He says hello. Again, Coffee Breath is wishing everyone else a happy Halloween. And Gamma Rays is on the show. It says, "Mike, what's up, baby?" So welcome, bud. And then Kyle McKay says to everybody, "Hey, guys." And Coffee Breath says, "I think you just saved me $6." Yeah, it was okay when it comes to Snow White, but it wasn't anything that would blew my sock off. I thought that it would actually be a little bit more violent, gruesome, dark, and it was a little more happier. And the story was a little bit disjointed, things like that. But it wasn't horrible. All right. And then Rob Boswell joins and says, "Hello, howdy." So welcome everybody to the show. Again, thank you for watching. Tevi has one more comment here before I keep going. "Any opinion on upcoming The Witcher trailer? Because I saw the trailer. It looks awesome." No, I have not watched The Witcher trailer, Tevia. Unfortunately, I have not. Will I watch it in the future? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Okay. So, yeah, guys, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Again, check out my cool Halloween shirt. I got it on right now. I'm looking a little bony, if you can say that. And guys, give this video a thumbs up. Right? That takes it again. Same thing. Far away. Can't talk. Anyway, let's talk about the next book. We talked about Snow White and the zombie apocalypse. Again, nothing that great, but it was the introductory book before everything gets started. The next book we're going to be talking about now is going to be, bam, Excalibur. This is issue 1. The next X book that was released in the whole X-Men thing right here. So there you go. You got Excalibur. Nothing here to really, I guess you can't say that you were spoiled, because you got the revelation of Psylocke, or Betsy, being Captain Britain, right? It's right there on the cover. So you knew she was going to be the next Captain Britain. So it was just a matter of like, what else happened in this book? And I can honestly say, for the first time with these X-Men books, I wasn't overly impressed when it came to Excalibur. We have characters in here like Morgan Le Fay. There's a portal that Apocalypse created, and we find out that, again, we can't have any mutants or not getting through this particular Krakoan portal. And so what happens is we wind up seeing this mission take place with Brian Braddock, and we see Betsy go out there, and we wind up seeing go to Camelot and all these things, and they have to open up this portal. Well, things like really go wrong, because Rogue is also called into this thing to try to help things open up from the other side. She helps open up this portal, and she winds up going into some kind of, I guess, with like a coma or whatnot, and that's what happens in here. So she breaks open the portal, she reaches for the Krakoan flowers, and she comes into this, like, I don't know, this sleeping state, and that's how you see her here. Okay, and I'm just kind of like, okay, that's fine, you know, she's sleeping, whatever it is. And you know, and then we see Betsy. She is Captain Britain. And then we wind up seeing Jamie Madrox, who winds up getting resurrected as well, because he died. So this is a way to bring back a lot of characters that died. So he gets resurrected. He has some words with Betsy. And I just don't have that much to say about this book. There wasn't really any great character moments in here that really excited me, except for when Jamie came back alive and Betsy. You know, that was quite interesting about how their family dynamic is and how the people in their family don't really get along. But when it was trying to be kind of serious, they tried to make it was like, I don't know, it was like almost they tried to make it funny at the same time. There was things in here that just didn't work. We get to see a little bit of Jubilee in here, but not very much of her. She still has her baby, Shogo. But just, I don't know. This was something that was kind of disappointing to me. For me, it just seemed in its own world. You know, it didn't seem like it was really connected at all. Maybe it's because, like, we haven't seen much of Rogue or Gambit and, you know, and Psylocke and all these other characters in the main X-Men series. When it came to Powers of X and Dawn of X, you did see a little bit of Apocalypse, but I just feel like these characters just, I don't know, just weren't connected enough for me. I just felt like it was a stretch. I get they have all these other missions and whatnot, but I wasn't too impressed by this particular one. I'm probably going to try the second issue out, but when it comes to this particular book, I was just like, I don't care about Morgan Le Fay. I don't care about, you know, I care about Rogue, but now that she's going to be in this coma, like, she's not going to have very much character interactions. Right from the start, Gambit sits there and blames Apocalypse, which is natural. And then you have Apocalypse calling himself, I guess, which is A. I don't know. I have the decoder here for the way they talk, and I don't know if I have an A on here. I really don't. But instead of calling himself Apocalypse, he has the mutant language, and he calls himself A. That's the way it looks like it. I don't know. But again, I wasn't overly impressed with Excalibur. It kind of let me down a bit. I was kind of bored by it. Even the cliffhanger was very lackluster, because you got the cliffhanger right here on this page. It's just a matter of how she got to that point. And that point was just very boring. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the character dynamic. And if Betsy's going to be the main character in this book, can can she hold her own here? You know, can she be that leader? So I don't know. This was a disappointing one for me. First X book that I did not like. And could this be the first one that I drop? We'll see. Marauders was a much better book than this. And X-Men was a much better book than this. This was a stretch for me. So let's see what our viewers say when it comes to this one. All right. Sorry, guys. It's hard to keep track of the comics on there. So it doesn't highlight anything. So let me see if I can do this. Tevia had a happy Halloween in there. Rob Boswell says, oh, this is live. So he's like, oh, howdy. And Tevia comes up on this comment and says, any opinion on the upcoming winter trailer? That's what we talked about. So we did get that one. Here's a Zenescope comment. If Zenescope did it, then different story. Yeah, they came out with their own book this week, and it came out with Monster Planet, which was a zombie apocalypse book. And I want to thank the 14 viewers that are watching right now. So thanks, guys. Rob is laughing. And Gamma says, Florida is too hot for this time of year. It actually is. Usually it does cool down a little bit. Like we would be in the low 80s at this point. But, dude, it's still 90 freaking degrees outside. It's freaking and I'm a tennis instructor, so I'm out there every day, at least anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day teaching tennis. And I look forward to the cooler days. Trust me. Rob Boswell says, as good as Marauders. Yeah, like I said, no, it's not. And Gamma Ray says, thumbs down or thumbs down, thumbs up or thumbs down. I gave this one a thumbs down. I just was not impressed by it. I was bored with it. It just feels like when it comes to the X-Men stuff, when it came to this title, this one was a particular reach. It was like reaching to connect to Krakoa and these characters reaching to the, you know, to the teleporting devices and stuff like that. Scoundrel says, when I do get the space for comic book stuff, I will give more indie books a shot right now. I'm just buying essential comics. I totally get it. I totally get it. These comics take up definitely space. Gamma says, doesn't surprise me. So he's talking about probably X-Men. The best series I ever saw Morgan Le Fay in was Dark Avengers when Doctor Doom was her love interest. That is kind of cool, actually. But as her being like the main villain, I just don't see it, you know? And she turns her brother into like her slave or whatnot. And I don't know. It was kind of rough. All right, let's see what else we have here. I wonder if Kevin Smith is still writing for DC or is he's going back to more. He writes for whoever he can. He's just one of those writers. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have an exclusive contract. Okay. All right. And here we have Gamma Rays is laughing, and we have Tevye. It says it feels separated from the mainstream X-Men stuff. Yeah, exactly, Tevye. It does. It doesn't seem like it really connected at all. It just seemed like it was its own thing, and that's what took me away from it. Okay. Yeah, Apocalypse was the only main thing on there. All right, let's see if we got anything else. Coffee Breath says, I'm reading it just for Apocalypse. And the high in Palm Bay was 92 yesterday. So there's our weather talk. Yeah, but Apocalypse can't carry a book on his own, right? I mean, he was the one that sent Betsy on the mission and also had Rogue involved in the mission as well. And obviously there was consequences. He didn't know what was exactly going on. And we saw the outcome of what happened. And of course, the first person, like I said, to blame Apocalypse was Gambit, because it's obviously his wife that got in trouble. And now they don't know how to handle it. But my situation is what does it matter now if the mutants die? Who cares? They can resurrect them at any time, right? Now, I guess unless you're Rogue and you're in a coma, so technically you're not dead, so you can't resurrect something that's not dead, can you? So if you're stuck in this limbo, then I guess that's the only way you can not be resurrected. But who cares? Like, Cyclops gets shot in the head, Boom, I'm going to resurrect you tomorrow. Apocalypse dies. Boom, I'm going to resurrect you tomorrow. Magneto dies. Who gives a shit? You're going to be resurrected. I'll see you tomorrow. Like, that's what's going to happen in these X-Men books. That's why they're trying to create this huge mutant population again, because everybody can get resurrected. So we'll see what happens with Excalibur. I might get it, give it the full story arc to really, understand this particular story. But if it was written like this one, it's already not grabbing my attention. This one could be, could be dropped. So we'll see what happens with this. All right. Power up with the power of water. We're going to go on to the next book. This book was a little bit more enjoyable, and that was Venom issue 19. However, it was like a 5-minute read. Like, Excalibur was like a good read. Like, had a lot of dialogue, had a lot involved with it, but I was bored to death by it. I didn't enjoy the story. With Venom 19, it was completely opposite. It was a short-ass read. Took me 5 minutes to read it, but I enjoyed the hell out of the story. So when it comes to Venom, there's stuff brewing in this book, but we still don't know any freaking answers to what's going on with Dylan. You get to see some shit. Looks like he had a conversation with Sleeper off panel, but we don't know his power set quite yet. And I think it's going to be a major player when it comes to the conclusion of this series. So we wind up going back in time. They catch you up a little bit of what happens with Matt Gargan. He's like paralyzed and whatnot and stuff like that. Obviously, we get to see the Maker, who actually is chasing after Normie and Dylan. And so what happens is, in this issue, we wind up seeing Sleeper get released by Dylan, okay? And Sleeper tells Dylan, listen, is it time? It's time to join the family. It's time for you to do your duties and be part of the family and stop my brother because he's up to no good. And Dylan's like, yes, absolutely. So when you saw this page, and this is funny because when I was doing my comic book haul yesterday, right, I was looking through this, and you know how I show the artwork. And I came across this page, and I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, I'm not going to show you guys anymore because I don't want to spoil it. Because at this point, I'm like, okay, well, Dylan's going to be Sleeper. And so right as you think what's going to happen is when he joins him, right, this happens. And you're like, oh, he's not joining him. He's not becoming the host, because Dylan is something much different than a symbiote. Because what happens, what it looked like is that when the symbiote went to go attach himself to him, he was like acid. It disintegrated him, or something happened to him. And he goes, get away from me. He's like, what are you? He's like, what is it with you? And he's just like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know. And he is like literally, freaking out here. And as a reader, you're like, shit. So this is a big mysterious thing. But then it jumps right back into the action, and you never really get that answer to what Dylan is. All you know is that all of a sudden Dylan is just working on natural instinct, and he becomes this freaking badass, right? So he makes Sleeper into this wolf. Now, Sleeper has a way to connect to his mind, even if you're not a pure host of him. He can read his mind. So he made him into this like wolf. And you're like, dude, that's pretty badass. But at this point, you're thinking, all right, they know what's going on with each other. Maybe you'll get the answer. Nope, don't get an answer. You just find out that freaking Sleeper and Dylan, they wind up attacking, and Hawkeye, of all people, attack the Maker and send him off packing. We also find out that Normie Osborn gets the symbiote extracted from him, whatever's left, every traces in the codex, and we find out that the Maker's machine worked. So in the end here, we wind up seeing that these two are developing this relationship, and Eddie winds up coming to his son, and he gives him a hug and stuff like that. And the Sleeper says, you got to tell your dad, And the Sleeper is sworn also to protect Dylan no matter what. And he actually forms into a cat now. So I guess Dylan wants him to be a cat. But he's like, no matter what, I'm going to protect you. He goes, Dylan, I will be at your side through what is to come. I will protect you to be the best of my ability, and I will never betray you. but I must ask one thing. When are you going to tell Eddie what you really are? So it looks like they had a conversation off panel, and yet as the reader, you don't know that. And you're just kind of just, fuck. You're like, come on. You're like, I need to know what's going on with Dylan. We've been stringing this along. So you kind of got to see what he is. I think he just might be able to disintegrate symbiotes. Like, he's almost like an anti-venom, right? It's like a symbiote touches me, you're going to be disintegrated and you're going to die. That might be what he is. I don't know. He's like the cure to a virus or something. Who knows? But the book was really good. I liked it. I like how it ties in so well with Absolute Carnage, and it leaves this mystery of who his son actually is. It's that much fun, you know? This was the one tie-in that I feel, again, I say it multiple times, that you as the fans must read. Okay? All the other tie-ins are kind of garbage. Even Spider-Man wasn't anything really that great unless you wanted to talk about Kindred. This has to do with the Venom symbiote. So, yeah, this is definitely a great book. And I'm curious to see what you guys see in the comments about this one. All right, so here we go. I got some comments here. I got some comments about Black Friday already. Let's see what we have. Again, once I said, guys, thumbs up, thumbs down. Tevia says, it feels separated from the mainstream. Okay, so we talked about that. Buy a lot of comics. Black Friday? Maybe. Depends what sale they have. They don't have that great Black Friday sales. I'm reading it for just Apocalypse, so we talked about that already too. Rogue turning into Sleeping Beauty, doesn't kiss her, shoot her on the head, and resurrect her. That's awesome. Coffee Breath, you just solved this book. It's over. Issue 2. Shoot her in the head, resurrect her, game over. That's all you got to do. That's awesome. Maybe they're doing the Disney thing, right? They're making it her Disney princess. That's hilarious. Carter laughs as well. Just sitting there laughing. That's all he's doing. Oh, let's see what we have here. Scoundrel says, did you read Captain Marvel and Spidey run? Personally, I love Captain Marvel, so hopefully no hate. I just like her story. LOL, and the entire world she has. I don't remember which story that was or which series that was. All right. And then Gamma Race talking about Excalibur says, for some reason that Excalibur run has been so far out there as far as story and character development. Comic book readers could never connect to either, as I was always left feeling like, who gives a crap? And I feel like with that first book, when it going back to Excalibur, I felt like what that book should have done was maybe got you more familiar with some of those characters. Like Betsy, I can see we all know, but maybe Captain Britain, maybe some of those Morgan Le Fay, like I get that they're very recognizable characters, but I feel like for a jumping on point for a new number one, I didn't know if that was that great of an introductory to this particular story. Ooh, we have a Johan says Venom 19 was a flop, so did not like it. Rob says Venom rocks, so we got a couple different opinions. Carter says, I have a theory. Maybe he doesn't actually change, but his power is that he can communicate with the symbiotes. That's very possible. Maybe he has a power like Null or something. Tevia says, so is Dylan half symbiote, half human? You would say that, obviously, because he was born human, right? Human DNA and then symbiote DNA, right? Let's see. Gamma Ray says, yeah, they really left it limp after Dylan doesn't become a host. Let's see. Scoundrel Gaming says, how much are the long boxes? I might be able to buy a couple. It depends on your shop. Long boxes, $8.99. I pay $5.99 for short boxes. And then they have all these designer ones now too. Ooh, Anti-Venom. That's an awesome theory. And hi, Mike. Sorry I'm late. So Daryl Beard's on the show. So welcome, Daryl. Thanks, guys, for watching. You guys are awesome. Carter says that is an awesome theory. So yeah, right. I mean, that's the way I can think about it, is that he is basically like an anti-venom, but a natural anti-venom with no drugs involved or anything like that. It's just, he is the cure to the venom symbiotes. It's like, oh, any symbiote touches him, he's going to kill him. So yes, he is their weakness. That would make him the strongest one there is, right? He makes him indestructible against the symbiotes. And Tevia says, oh, by the way, I know this is off topic, but I'm just wondering if you can check out my review on Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one. Okay, Tevia, we got your plug in there, bud. Oh, geez. All right. So that was Anti-Venom, all right? Or Anti-Venom. That's what we're going to call it. That could be the new series that Dylan is in. He has his own solo series, and they're going to call it Anti-Venom. That's what's going to happen. Volume 2. Did they make an Anti-Venom series, or was it just in Spider-Man? I don't know. We'll see. Let's move on. I'll start rambling on, by the way. Okay, so we're going to go on to our next one, and our next book is going to be Marvel Zombies Resurrection Issue 1. What are they going to do with Marvel Zombies this time? I don't know. I like this book. I thought it was fun. Again, very fitting for Halloween, right? Let me see. I'm going to try to keep it where I don't lose your comments, but I don't know if that's going to happen. All right. So Marvel Zombies Resurrection. So you're thinking, all right, zombie apocalypse book. Marvel heroes are infected. It's going to suck. We already had a 1, 2, and a 3. But you know what? This was fun. Philip Kennedy Johnson is the writer here, and I felt like the writer tried to develop a solid story. It wasn't like there was this dog that was infected by eating a rotten hot dog, and he bit a human, and then a human bit a Marvel character, and then the character bit another character, and they all got infected. It wasn't so dumb like that. It was actually a pretty good plot. I actually liked it, okay? It's just I felt like our Marvel heroes were a little bit naive, and maybe Reed was a little bit of an asshole in this book because he's so stubborn, right? But in this particular book, we see, once again, things take place on Yancey Street because the Fantastic Four are involved. Reed Richards gets this message from Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel says, Reed, we need you here. I need your help. There's something in, and it's a very static message. And the next thing we see is that we can see there in that outline, in that page, in that panel, we wind up seeing that Galactus is involved. And they came to a conclusion that Galactus was on his way to Earth, and then all of a sudden it stopped moving. And so they find out that they come to the conclusion that Galactus is dead. They need to take advantage of this technology that Galactus has in his body. So Reed Richards gathers the Avengers, some of the X-Men, a lot of people, okay, to go and explore Galactus, because what they want is, A, they want to get the technology and then burn the body so nobody else actually gets the technology from Galactus and use it for evil. Makes sense, right? Okay, so they go out there, and we wind up, as they coming to Galactus, this is kind of the way he looks, right? You can see he's dead. There's nothing there. So what they do is they land on his mouth. So that's what happened. They land on his mouth. You can see his teeth. I wonder if he has gingivitis or any cavities. But he lands on his mouth, and Wolverine's like, there's something that doesn't smell right in here. Because after they were on here, they were afraid to open up their visors and whatnot and, breathe in the atmosphere. But it was like this self-created atmosphere. Reed is all astounded by everything. Oh, he's like, Galactus has he's got all this stuff going on, and we can definitely, do all kinds of crazy scientific shit and take it home. And we're not going home. And Sue's like, can't we just dump the body? Can't we just burn it and move on? He's like, no, we got. He's like getting the biggest hard on trying to freaking, get this Galactus stuff. So Ileana, Wolverine, a couple other people go their separate ways to get some samples of Galactus. And what happens now is that we wind up seeing that their character in the shadow there, it was all fake. It was zombified Captain Marvel that called everybody over to come to Galactus. So it was all basically a setup, okay? Now, how our characters actually became this way, we still don't know, okay? We just know that Galactus and a lot of Marvel characters were infected. So that is still yet to be determined. So after they did some more digging and exploring and stuff like that, things really go wrong for our heroes here. They wind up finding out that they go into the pit of Galactus, and Silver Surfer rises from wherever he is that he's at, right? I guess maybe he was doing battle against Galactus, or maybe he was the herald of Galactus in this Elseworld tale. But we get to see him rise, and he loses his armor, and then he starts eating Johnny Storm. So that's the first person that truly gets affected out of all our heroes. And then we see Carol Danvers fight the other group of people in here, and she's all zombified, and she starts doing battle against Ileana and everything else. And just the battle, they just get overwhelmed, because it's just like you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're all there, Nova's there, all these cosmic beings are all infected by this virus, and now they're spreading it to the people that lived on Earth. So this was a cosmic virus. Now, how they got infected again, we don't know. That's still yet to be determined. And hopefully that story will be told as time goes on. But we do see Sue Storm get infected here as she tries to get rescued by Reed. And her last words are just she's like, because you just had to see. You always have to see what's out there in the dark. Well, now you've seen it, haven't you? And take a good look. Come and see, Reed. And she goes and she tries to eat him. Thor tries to escape, tries to make it back on Earth with Rhodey. Rhodey was the one that was left behind. That failed because you got everyone else chasing after him. And then the next thing you wind up seeing is something big, because you wind up seeing Valeria and Spidey, and I think it's Franklin. And Franklin sees something, and he's like, guys, there's something coming. He's like, guys, and they're just having their old conversation, and Galactus is just falling in through the atmosphere of the Earth. That's a pretty big deal, dude. Galactus is freaking huge, and if he's falling in the atmosphere of Earth of how many miles per hour, that's going to cause a problem. And then if you got all these zombie-like Marvel heroes in there, well, that's going to cause an even bigger problem. So this book was actually good. I had enjoyed it. It wasn't as cheesy as I thought it was going to be. But I said the same thing about Contagion too. And that's turned out to be this slow burn, nothing going on at this point type of book. And so, but this one just seems like the quality writing here is better, and the artwork here is better as well. And the artwork is done by Leonard Kirk. So, I definitely say go out and purchase this book, guys. This one looks like it will be a lot of fun, hopefully for a couple of issues to come. So let's see what our commenters say now. Let's see. Maybe this worked. If anti-venom shows, that would be epic. And Tevye is laughing at my comment that I said about his plug. And then he says anti-venom again. Well, it's anti-venom, but it would be Dylan, right? And Rob says, I'm buying the new anti-venom. Yeah, baby. Maybe I just created the idea for Marvel. Or maybe Marvel already has the idea and I just figured it out. I'm no genius. That's just my speculation going on, right? But wasn't anti-venom destroyed? But I just gave you the reason, Tevye, on how the new anti-venom is created. It's Dylan. His power inside, if you read Venom, is when Sleeper went to go attach himself to him, Sleeper burned. There is something about him. And I feel like Dylan is an anti-venom type of character. He is like a virus. He is the antidote to, not being affected by the symbiotes. He can kill all of them. Okay. Just a matter of how he uses his powers. All right. Scoundrel says, does anyone like Pop from early 2000s? Sorry for the off topic, but just curious. So that's some of the stuff going on. Marvel Zombies again. Here it goes back to my hot dog comment, laughing. And then Gamma Ray says, all because of an Oscar Mayer wiener, never eating hot dogs again. Sorry, I got to turn you guys off to Oscar Mayer wieners. Scoundrel says, how long do you think it will be until we get Galactus in the MCU? I don't know. From what everyone is like speculating and rooming, the rumor mill that's going out there is that we're going to get the Fantastic Four movie, maybe like in phase 5, I guess. I don't know. Or phase 6. Who knows? I'm not one of those guys. But whenever that Fantastic Four movie comes out, that's what people are saying that Galactus might make his debut. And I think it would be a good one. All right. So let's see. Gamma says, landed on his mouth, massive pubes and Galactus teeth. Oh, my God. Oh, geez. Everyone's laughing at that comment. Coffee Breath says, it looks good. Might pick it up if it's still at my local shop. I think it will be. I think people are kind of tired of Marvel Zombies, so they might not be anxious to pick it up. So you might still see it. And Read More Comics joins the show. So thank you. And then Tevia rounds off this round of questions by saying, I still wonder how many Marvel Zombie books we have now because I lost count. Hey, there's an audience for it. And as long as there's an audience for it, there's always going to be people that read it. So just keep that in mind. And I want to appreciate the 21 viewers that are watching the show right now. Thank you guys. Like I said before, give this video a thumbs up. Support the channel in any way possible. It's always greatly appreciated to make my channel grow. That's what I'm trying to do. Chi-Town Bud says, happy Halloween. So welcome. It's a chi or chai. So I just sorry if I said your name wrong. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Okay. So the next book is the conclusion to the other zombie book on the other publisher, and that is Deceased. This is issue 6. Okay, so I think this book here was actually really, really good. Let me see what we got. A couple other comments. All right, we're right here. All right, so Deceased issue 6 is definitely a great conclusion to a series that started off kind of crappy for me, right? But it just got better as it went. And when it came to this series, you had to trust in Tom Taylor's writing. His writing was spectacular. He really knows how to get character emotion in this book and really gets the reader to care about the character. And that's when you know you have a really solid writer. Even in an Elseworld book, that doesn't even matter, right? Now, I'm curious to see, and I thought I read something that if we're going to get like a follow-up to this series, like an ongoing of what happens to our survivors in this book, okay? So in the last issue, if you guys read Deceased issue 5, we found out that Superman was infected by this technovirus, and it was all originally caused by Cyborg. And he tried to escape, couldn't escape. Once we find out that he's not escaped, well, all shit hits the fan, okay? He sits there and just starts blowing up buildings, just starts attacking people. They got to come up with a contingency plan. Wonder Woman makes this freaking sword that's made out of, from her people and kryptonite. And she's like, I can kick his ass. We need to kill him. Otherwise, civilization is going to die. So we wind up seeing that civilization is going to Themyscira because that's where people could stay. If they can still stay on Earth, that's where they're going to be and hidden. But as they expanded Themyscira, it's no longer hidden. So all of a sudden, we wind up finding out, well, who can actually come to Themyscira and, penetrate their fortresses and, go to where they actually are because they're in the middle of the water. They're in an island, right? Well, fucking Aquaman, man. He comes up with this big ass Kraken, right? And Mara's like, oh shit. And he has all his flipping Atlanteans there, right? And you're just like, oh no. So now with all these zombie-like creatures, it's like, holy cow. Like, seriously, how are they going to survive this? So they try to stall. But the best freaking panel that I have read so far this week actually happens. Just as Aquaman, he gets no respect, even as a zombie. Just as Aquaman is on this flipping Kraken, okay, he gets an arrow right through the freaking head. And you think it's like a harpoon or something like that, but it's an arrow, right? And he falls off the flipping Kraken here, right? And the next thing is Mara's just like, she can't believe her husband's died. And freaking Green Arrow, of all people, he says, and Batman didn't think I could be dangerous. Just fired an arrow half a mile through raging winds in the brain of the undead king of the sea while he was controlling the damn Kraken. Fuck you, Batman. That is the best line of the week, and it's Green Arrow that did it. And I was like, that is awesome. I love that flipping line. That was so good, right? And so anyway, it doesn't matter if Aquaman died. The Atlanteans were taking over all of Themyscira. Everyone was getting torn up and eaten and just being overrun. And so what happened was they were just trying to buy time. So then what happens is that the humans, that's left of the civilization, what came to about 6 million people or so, wound up leaving Earth. And Superman's just destroying Earth. He's all over the place just trying to destroy people. So Wonder Woman feels that it's in her duty to actually stop Superman with her kryptonite sword. Well, that's a fail. I mean, she puts up a good fight. She stabs him in the freaking heart and shit like that. She cuts off his freaking hand. You can see his hand flying off his arm. And you're like, oh, okay, she's got this in the bag, right? Nope. Sits there. He puts a hole through her chest. And the next thing is Dinah is like, no, she's like freaking out because Wonder Woman's dead on the ground. And she's just like, you gotta get the people away. And you're just like, oh my gosh. It's so intense, this book. I loved it. And they're basically in space at this point. And we see that Superman saw the arcs. And the version of these zombies is their main purpose is to destroy life. It's not just because he sees an arc, he's going to destroy it. Their zombie purpose is death. Anything that's still alive, they're going to kill it. That's what it's about. So he sees the arcs. He goes after the arcs. We have a great moment between John and Damian here, and he's going to sacrifice himself. So he collides with his father. Just enough time. You know, if he dies, he dies. But he does it just to collide with his dad, buys enough time. Dinah rescues him, and look who comes, the Green Lantern Corps. Where the fuck were they all this time? Why the heck did it take them 6 issues to finally make their appearance? Is it because they had to get the entire Green Lantern Corps to come? And then Superman is there left thinking, deciding, can I kill all these people? Nope, he can't. So what does he do? He goes right to the Earth's sun, right? And he absorbs all the power. That's what he's going to do. And he's going to kill the sun so he can kill all of life, not only on Earth, but the entire universe. And you're just like, that's dark. I mean, that's intense right there, right? So I was like, man, that's just rough. And so we see Cyborg and Wonder Woman, the last heroes left, okay? Cyborg sits there and he goes, okay, I need to figure out, I'm going to use the lasso of truth on you. He finds out all the information about the virus and if there's a cure to the virus. And Wonder Woman says, yeah, there is. There's definitely a cure, and that cure is you. And he's like, I didn't know that all this time. He's like, I got to get to the arts. He's like, I can save Earth. And, well, that was short-lived because freaking Wonder Woman sits there and rips his head off. And he falls down a canyon. So that ends that. And by the time you wind up getting to the end of this, you find out that this virus is going to be held at bay because there's no sun, there's no universe. Our heroes go to the next universe and they go to another Earth. This is Earth 2. And they find out that this is going to be their next home. And that's how the book ends. So, wow, man, what a conclusion to this series. Holy shit, man. Even at issue 6, it didn't stop at its violence and gore at all its finest. I love this book, man. At issue 1, I was like, this is dumb. The artwork wasn't even that good in issue 1, and this just was improved by so much. It was so good. I loved it. Holy cow. I want them to do a follow-up to see what happens to these heroes. Does Superman come back? Does he find them? Like, that's what I want to figure out here. So that was so good. Let's see what happens in our comments here. Let's see. I got a few comments here. So we have Rob says, I grabbed 3 variants of deceased. Is that what you meant to say? And Daryl says, if Zombie Galactus eats a rotten hot dog and may kill him, and Reed Richards can dissect him and find a cure for the virus. Oh, I'm glad this hot dog made the topic. Marvel Zombies. Okay. And then we have Scoundrel Gaming, Heroes Are My Life, says 22 viewers at one point. Now I'm up to 27 viewers. So thank you guys. Again, thumbs up, please, if you're enjoying this. You're just not good with numbers, Tevia. Gamma Rays says, Mike, you're doing a great job. Thank you for this outlet and channel to talk comics and have a good laugh. And then that's what I'm trying to do, guys. This is how I am with comic books. Even if I'm having a conversation with just somebody out on the street, this is how I am. I don't do it just in front of the camera. I do it because this is how I am when it comes to stuff that I'm passionate about. If I'm talking to you about comics, this is how I am. If I'm talking to you about the Miami Dolphins, because that's my favorite football team, this is how I am. Like, if I'm talking to you even about tennis, this is how I am at all times, you know? Now, if you talk to me about some reality TV, I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So, yeah. Tevia, I love Deceased. It was really awesome, and holy shit, this story was epic. To see my boy Jonathan Samuel Kent, Superboy, going up against his father is epic. Yeah, it was really cool. Guy Gardner was really good in that book too, man. He goes up to Dinah and he's like, Dinah, you're a Green Lantern? Really? It's so funny, man. It's like they were able to put humor in this book that you would not expect, you know, and I thought that was really cool. All right, and then we have, let's see. What else we get? Scoundrel says, I love X-23. I'm doing a binge read. I have 5 or 7 books of that character, and they're like 230 pages of awesome character. Yeah, she's a great character. Hopefully she will get her own series once again. That Arrow panel was beautiful. That's what Coffee Breath said. And Tevia said the same thing, that Arrow is a badass. Scoundrel says, Green Arrow is awesome. I've read a couple books with great reads. Let's see. And then Scoundrel says, what's a good read for Young Justice? I bought the 70s Teen Titans. It was kind of different. Still loved it, but I wasn't used to that story, that style of story. I haven't read too much of Teen Titans. Current Teen Titans is really good, though. So are we in the new Earth 2 where everybody dies? That I don't know. I don't know if they're just calling it Earth 2 because this is Earth number 2, not like Earth 2 DC universe style 2. Who knows? Because didn't Earth 2 die in the new 52, if I remember correctly? All right. Great show. Happy Halloween, Mike. That's what Daryl says. So thank you so much for watching. And Coffee says, the real skill is talking like this is about the Dolphins. I love my Dolphins, man. They suck this year. I know it's probably on purpose, but I've been waiting since 1984, guys, for a Dolphins Super Bowl, and I can't even get them there. They can't even get to the playoffs. Shit, they can't even win a game. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, so we'll see what happens with them. All right, so the last book, guys, we're going to talk about today, and can't spend too much time on this one as I'm going to have my in-laws coming over very shortly to start getting ready for this party. But we have The Joker. This is the Killer Smile. This is part 1 of 3. Talking about Green Arrow book. If you guys remember Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, they wrote that New 52 Green Arrow run, which was really good. Okay, very inventive, something we haven't seen from the character before. You get these same two write this actual book, and it's brilliant. It's really, really good. Now, I don't want to open it up too much because I don't want to bend the spine on this particular book. But the artwork is good. And if you're familiar with his artwork, this is what you can expect from Andrea Sorrentino. And it makes reality and false reality, like, just, you don't know what's going on, but it's perfect. Like, delusional and reality just works well with this book because you don't know what's happening. You know something is happening, but you don't know what it is, right? So what happens in this particular issue? Well, it starts off kind of like any other Batman or Joker story, okay? We wind up seeing this psychiatrist by the name of Ben, and he's doing this interview with the Joker, and he's on this project to help psychopaths or sociopaths and whatnot. And he feels that he can crack the case. He's one of the best in his field. And he's been dealing with the Joker for some time, and he thinks that it's not going to affect him. Okay. But as this issue progresses, we wind up seeing that his interactions with the Joker is affecting him. Okay. He's reading a story to his son, and it's about this, what the heck is it called? This Mr. Smiles, where this world was all once happy and great. But then until Mr. Smiles entered the picture, things started getting dicey. So what happens is that this story that you read that is fake or fictional in the book that you're reading, it's kind of happening in this guy's life. Because before Mr. Joker entered in this man's life, everything was perfect. Now that Mr. Joker's in this guy's life, things are not looking quite so hot. He's starting to see dead people. Yeah, he's just not performing the right way. He woke up one night and he thought he just woke up like 2 minutes ago, or it's in the middle of the night. It's 8 a.m. and he didn't know where he's at. So it's a really psychological type of book. And again, you don't know what's real and what's reality. But all we know is that this is kind of like a story that happened in the children's book. It's weird, man, but it's so good. I really love this book. And Sorrentino's artwork does fit it, okay? Here's the storytelling in this book when he was reading the story to his kid. But again, this man, Ben, he has this perfect life. He's got a perfect son. He's got a perfect wife. And his wife does show some concerns. She's like, I don't want you on this case anymore. And he's like, nah, I got it. It's no problem. And they have this big story, this big talk and whatnot. And so this one's just getting started. This book is $5.99. It is a little pricey. It's only 22 pages. There's not a lot of dialogue, but it is a good story because there's a lot of visuals that happen in this book. So I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this particular one. If you did pick it up, I actually wasn't going to read this. I was like, another Joker story. But then I saw it and I'm like, I saw this cover and this cover made me buy it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy this book. This one looks like a lot of fun. And I read it and I loved it. And I'm happy I did. I'm going to read the next couple issues. Okay. So I'm going to read off these couple comments and then I'm going to head out, guys. Okay. So Coffee Breath really loved Killer Smile. And Scoundrel says, oh, Mike, have you seen the new Joker film? So good. My God, I hope we get the sequel. But if not, I'm fine. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it at some point. I have a family. How am I going to see this movie, right? Unless I go by myself. And I hate seeing movies by myself. Okay. Let's see. Tevia says, sounds super nuts. Oh, yeah, it was really great. I love those ones. I love your room. It's filled with my favorite characters. This is my garage. I'm just letting you know that. So I'm in a garage when I do these videos. Okay. G-Spot Comics says, Sorrentino does Gideon Falls too. Not too crazy about interior art. His artwork fits certain books. When Sorrentino did Old Man Logan, didn't work for me. For this, it works. Okay. So yeah. Let's see if I have any other comments. Oh yeah. So going back to your conversation here, Daryl Beard says George Perez, Teen Titans was awesome. So, and yeah, Earth 2 died like 3 times. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys. So I don't mean to cut this show off short, but I do have to start getting ready for my Halloween event that's coming at my house any second now. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And again, no show next week, but 2 weeks from now, the show will be back. And again, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, support the channel any way you can. Share this. You guys are great. Have a wonderful Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys on that next video. So until next time, you've been watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Happy Halloween, guys!